In very broad terms, narcissists are often divided into two categories, overt and covert. To be clear, they're equally awful. Overt narcissists are the ones you'll see grandstanding in the office or talking much too loudly at a party. Covert narcissists, in contrast, tend to hide in the shadows where they're less likely to be caught. Narcissistic covert abuse often starts slowly. Most victims of covert narcissists report that they felt something was off, but it didn't feel like abuse because it was subtle and hard to put their finger on. Over time, the covert narcissist will slowly increase the level of abuse so that the changes are almost imperceptible to their victim. Overt behaviors are those that can be easily observed: bragging, exaggerating, taking credit for other people's achievements, railroading, hijacking conversations, etc. Covert behaviors, however, are less obvious. The red flags are much harder to see. This makes covert narcissists harder to protect yourself from. Covert narcissists crave admiration and a sense of importance. They also lack empathy toward others. They differ from overt narcissists, who are typically bold and charming, but combative and aggressive when crossed. Covert narcissists, in comparison, are generally described as reserved. Overt narcissists still meet the criteria for NPT diagnosis, but also have traits that aren't typically attributed to narcissism, including shyness and introversion, self-consciousness, insecurity, defensiveness, extreme sensitivity to what others think of. People with covert narcissism might make dismissive or sarcastic comments and act as if they're above criticism, but internally they might feel empty, humiliated, or enraged. When a covert narcissist becomes enraged, watch out. They will find secret ways to punish their target. Criticism is a threat to the covert narcissist because it constitutes evidence that their own negative view of themselves may actually be correct. When they receive a critique instead of admiration, they can take it pretty hard. People with covert narcissistic personality disorder are deeply afraid of having their flaws or failures seen by others. They will do anything to protect their own image and keep the things they're ashamed of hidden. People with covert narcissism may also avoid social situations or relationships that lack clear benefits. They simultaneously feel superior and tend to distrust others. One thing narcissists never lack: an imagination. Covert narcissists envision themselves achieving grandiose goals or reaching a high status in society, but are typically unable to perform at this level. When covert narcissists fail to reach their full potential in their careers despite their ambitions, they become depressed, withdrawn, and engrossed with self-pity. Covert narcissists will always blame their failures on unfair circumstances or other people. Habitual manipulators do so for control, and covert narcissists are experts at using deceptive techniques to gain power. They do this through continuous and recurring emotional abuse, which becomes coercive control over time. Covert narcissists are often passive-aggressive. If you're hoping to confront a covert narcissist about their behavior, I have 2 words for you: good luck. Narcissists will pretend to be hurt or shocked by your complaints, all in an effort to deflect any criticism and continue to behave in an unacceptable manner. The goals of a covert narcissist: to avoid being confronted, to put their target on the defensive, to make the victim doubt themselves and their perceptions, to hide their aggressive intent, to avoid responsibility, to avoid changing themselves. If you think there might be a covert narcissist hiding in your midst, here are some red flag behaviors the narcissist may be exhibiting. Behave passive-aggressively to get their way, are smug, insensitive, and withholding, seek out caretaker personality types to exploit, cry on cue and manipulate through self-pitying performances, have delusions of victimization and persecution, stage a crisis to gain attention. The overt extroverted narcissist might be more obvious in their approach to gaining leverage over their victim, such as explicitly being sarcastic or rude. The introverted covert narcissist may have a more gentle approach to explain why something is the victim's fault. They might even pretend to be a victim of their target's behavior or engage in emotional abuse to put themselves in a position to receive reassurance and praise from their target. Whether overt or covert, the goal is to make the other person feel small. When dealing with a covert narcissist, the lack of regard, sense of entitlement, and constant dishonesty can feel very personal to those on the receiving end. No matter how painful the narcissist's behaviors might be, it's important that the victim understands that they are not the one at fault. The one thing that helped me most in my own journey to recovery from narcissistic abuse was knowledge. That's because once you learn how to spot and label narcissistic and manipulative behaviors for exactly what they are, they can never be used against you again. I know from personal experience this stuff is tough. If you want more information on narcissistic abuse and how to heal from it, just click the link for your completely free cheat sheet of the top 10 red flags you need to know in order to protect yourself from these predators.